Good evening, everyone, and once again, welcome to All Things Brunswick. We have some great guests this evening. I want to say hello to my co-host, Todd Osborne.
Good evening.
Nice to have you here again, as usual. And our tech guy, who we love and couldn't do a thing without, TK. Tonight's guests are important to the county for the reason that they do things for us and share in the responsibility of electing those people to spots and offices that we really need. And so with me this evening, we have the chair of the Brunswick County Republican Men's Club, David Smutsky.
Thank you, Mary.
And we have his very important worker, I guess.
Committee member.
Committee member / worker, Dennis.
Mitarotondo.
I love that. Mitarotondo. I'll learn to say it eventually. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us.
David, please tell us how you started the men's club, what prompted you to do so, and how you got going with this.
So the chair of Brunswick County Republican Party, Bill Moore, was a member of, in other counties, he had been member of the North Carolina Federation of Republican Men. And so it is a federation. And he was in New Hanover at the time. And then he moved to Brunswick County, became the chair. He wanted to have a party, a federated club over here. So he talked to me about it. I liked the idea. So I went about talking to the federation and doing what was needed to get people together. And our county was real appreciative. They came out. There were 25 members like the first night. And,
That's wonderful.
it didn't take a whole lot of calling. Mostly it was announcements at the executive committee meetings and some conventions and things. But we got 25 guys pretty much right off the bat, and one woman, because we do have associate members.
Yeah.
So Sharon is also
Right.
a member of Brunswick County Republican Men.
And so we are allowed to become associate members.
And we'd love you to.
Oh, I would like very much to.
Okay.
Okay, tell our audience how they can become involved.
Well, we meet right before the executive committee meeting. We meet right here at the Brunswick County Republican Party headquarters. We convene at 5:15. The exec committee meeting meets starting at 6:30. So at 5:15 we meet. We coordinate for the next month, and we try to get some projects involved. And then we adjourn the meeting, but then we meet for projects. And Dennis has been an important leader in one of our main projects, which is why I wanted people to get to know Dennis a little more.
Great. So, Dennis, tell us about this project that you are involved in.
So I'm sure everybody sees, no matter where you drive, you see the cleanup signs, that the county provides for us to adopt a highway. So I know down where I live in Brick Landing Plantation, they're all around the place, and I see the people out there all the time. So we with David's help, we got our committee together. We came up with the plan. We contacted the DOT. There's paperwork you have to fill out. The DOT actually tracks the trash that's picked up from other people. I guess they weigh it, right? And I guess it goes into their yearly, how much trash they pick up from the road.
Wow.
So after we do the cleanup, I report it back to the DOT. They provide us with bags, gloves, and Frank Isla was nice enough to kick in some money, and we bought grabbers, picker-uppers, so that you're not down there reaching in the grass with snakes and picking up trash along the side of the road.
That's important.
So it's been pretty successful. We're on the ground floor, and we have 20, like David said, 24, 25 people in our group. We reach out to them. We publish a letter that says when all the cleanups are, so everyone knows it's going to be on the Brunswick County, the monthly mail out that lets what's happening in Brunswick County. It's now going to be on that mail out. We're also talking about creating a Facebook page to get more people. And this committee is not about picking up garbage. It's about team building.
Exactly.
You know, it's just something for us to do, be outside, out of the building, right? And alongside each other, laughing, talking it up with
Yes.
each other. And so
Right.
I brought a friend for this cleanup, and he's going to be joining the men's group. So that's what it's about. It's about team
Yes.
building. That's all it is. It's not
That's
about the garbage. It's about the team building.
Yeah. And at the same time, you're doing this great task that is much needed in this county.
And that was the thing behind us. The North Carolina Federation of Men, their project is getting judges elected, funding judge
Sure.
campaigns. Okay, we thought that we would be a service organization before we started asking people to contribute money. So we show up at Republican meetings. We help with the convention. We've helped the women with some of their functions, and we're available to help the party, of course. But this is our outreach to the community to show that we're here for Brunswick County and not just for Republicans.
I think that's great.
But at some point, we are going to focus on getting judges elected. Now, we have an
Sure.
easy job here in Brunswick County, but the votes here in Brunswick County help statewide elections.
Sure. Yep. Brunswick County is a very important county statewide. Of the 100 counties that we have in North Carolina, we have actually been a leader in a lot of things. So, they kind of look to us at times.
Well,
So,
one example from the judgeship was the Supreme Court
right.
election. Okay, we back in 2020, we elected Newby to lead up the Supreme Court. He won the statewide votes by 404 votes,
Yes.
but he won Brunswick County by 15,000.
Right.
Okay, so
Yep.
Brunswick County is an important county.
Something to
And-
think about, folks.
And we are going to pay attention to the voting for
Right.
judges.
Yeah.
That's going to be our focus.
Are you only going to focus on judges, or are you going to look at other local candidates, commissioners, and whatnot?
Well, we're Republicans, so
Right.
we want to change everything Republicans. Those of us who volunteer for electioneering, we're going to be handing out the printed forms that the pamphlets that the party is going to be using, and we are going to be saying, vote the whole ballot, turn it over, look for the judges.
Start at the back and work forward.
All those different ideas, yes. But our federation, our statewide federation focus is on the judges. But no, we're here to get Republicans elected and to support them when they're elected.
One problem I keep running into with a lot of people is they're like, well, I don't know who to vote for. I don't know anything about these positions and all. Is there anything you folks can do to help? Because it's the down ticket issues. In the last primary, which there's a primary going on now, folks, so vote.
Early voting
In the
started.
last election, I think it was the Register of Deeds was the very last one, and she got half the votes of all the other positions because people weren't going to the bottom of the ballot.
Right. Chair of our party has made that point repeatedly, and that seems to be his focus this year, is to vote the whole ballot.
Exactly. Yeah. And we must reiterate that fact again and again and again, because in the past, the last presidential election, there were many people, even in our county, who voted just the presidential part and left the rest of the ballot empty.
10,000 difference, like you said.
Yeah.
Josh,
And that's
10,000
huge.
10,000 votes.
Don't we provide a sample? I think we provide a sample
We
ballot.
do.
And that's so important because, I'm
Yes.
very involved politics. My wife, she's involved. I tell her. And we got the sample ballot ahead of time, and we talked
Right.
about who we
Yeah.
liked, who we didn't like. and that made the decision easier.
We have a lot of focus in this county on word of mouth. I think that it is probably one of the best ways to get the information out. And so if I told 5 people and those 5 people told 5 people each, and this is pretty much what Brunswick County has done repeatedly. And so it's very important that we tell them more than once who would make the best candidate, who we'd like to see in place, and so forth and so on. So
how the Brunswick County Republican men can help is that in our past couple meetings, for the primary, we had someone who was running for the Register of Deeds.
right.
We had a Board of Education member or 2 to come. And I think we had a statewide candidate. He was going to be here for the regular meeting, so he spoke to the men's group as well. So we do have those kind of forums where we can ask the questions and he talks to us. And, the candidates talk to us. So, and then we talk among ourselves.
That's great. Now, do you have a board, so to speak? You're the chair. Do you
Well,
have a vice chair?
There's a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer.
Okay.
Okay.
So you
And
have all of those slots filled.
they are filled now. They're coming up for election in August.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And there will be some new officers.
All right. So any gentleman who is a registered Republican in Brunswick County, they can come and join your organization.
That's right.
And I can join as an associate.
That's right. And people that join before August get to vote on the new leadership.
I see.
Again, we're going to follow the North Carolina Federation and see what we can do about the judgeships, particularly in other judgeships in our district. But we're here to help the community. We're here to help Brunswick County.
That's great.
And it's not just about politics with us. We're here to serve.
I'm so glad to hear that.
I would think being a member would also help people have a little more insight in what's going on behind the scenes with our candidates and in the political spectrum as a whole.
And I think you're right, okay, because the people that are involved, we have 2 county commissioners, okay, we have 3 or 4 judges, okay, so yeah, we get into some discussions.
Yeah,
So-
If you don't think judges aren't important, just look at New York.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Very important.
And it does. It matters. I grew up in Cumberland County, which is heavy Democrat. Matter of fact, we didn't even have a Republican Party office there until last year.
Wow,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So they
getting
are
one.
developing. But what the committees are doing help grow that and expand that, and they start finding out people aren't one side or the other. They're more about the ideas and let's get to the facts and find better solutions and take the emotion out of it. And that's one of the things I like about the committees is because you can discuss ideas openly and not get crucified for doing so.
Right.
I said to Rose when I come in today for the meeting, I said, I love coming here. I feel so comfortable because we're
Yes.
so many like-minded people. It's
Exactly.
like I look forward to coming here.
Yeah.
I do, and in the last election we were here, and that's where I got to meet Rose. And like I said, it's just I enjoy coming to the meetings.
And they're not terrible people if you do disagree.
Yes.
And I also lived in other counties in North Carolina that were heavy Democrat, and I have to say that Brunswick County is like a breath of fresh air compared to those places.
Great.
Absolutely.
Tell us what you would like to see your committee do in the future. Are there specific things that you want to bring about?
Blood drive. We need to do more reach out to the. There's a lot of poor people in Brunswick County. I forget what the statistic is of children that go to bed every night without their meals. You know, we had talked about some food drives, especially since the Brunswick County Food Pantry has been moved. It's at the building right next door. You
Exactly.
know, that would
Yep.
could probably make the transition easy.
Yep.
You know, talked about the blood drive. We talked about Toys for Tots. I mean, we cover the whole spectrum. So it's just a matter of like spacing them out. You know, you got to allow 3 months, 4 months for each project. Probably get 3 or 4 good projects in a year, right? I would say that that would be a good goal for us to set, to get 3 projects for a year. I mean, we got the road cleanup and maybe 2 other projects. And like I said, just try to grow the membership and just put it out there. And
Right.
Okay, so our first project was the roads, and Dennis stepped up to be captain of that project, and that's done a good job. So we would need the other captains. We're looking for people who can step in and step up to doing some of these projects. The blood drive, when we were trying to do it, there were just blood drives everywhere, and
Yes.
they had certain requirements, and we couldn't meet those requirements.
Right.
But at some point, that's something that we'd like to do.
Yeah. I love the idea of helping children, needy children. I'm told that in Brunswick County right now, there's not even enough housing for children who have been taken, from abusive parents and whatnot. So
about the
it
bosses.
it is a definite problem in this county. So, and we have some great organizations that help. Matthews Ministries, which does a backpack full of food, sends home with the kids on the weekend so they get to eat. I think that's a wonderful organization, but I would be in support of that for sure, and I would be happy to help with that.
that's what we're looking for ideas.
Yeah.
You know, viable ideas, something that we know that we can
Right.
attain.
And I did read the article on the food pantry being put next door. They have a lot more room, and the food is better kept over here.
They have a lot of cold storage
Right.
here also. 'Cause
Yep.
we were going to do Thanksgiving turkeys, but we started up too late. You know, so
Yeah.
we realized we were, like you just can't come up with an idea and say we're going to do it. You gotta put it on the calendar and plan it. You know,
Right.
and we had all these great ideas, and we looked into it, and so we just couldn't make it happen under
Sure.
that time frame. So going for 2025, you know, we'll definitely space our projects out and try to get
Yep.
like, say, 3 a year would be a good
That'd be good.
barometer.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's great. That's wonderful. Yeah. So, Todd, are you interested in joining? We need to pull
Yes,
him
I
in
am.
now, David.
As a matter of fact, I was talking to your vice chair yesterday, JK,
Right.
and he was pushing me. Imagine that, a lawyer pushing you.
Yeah. JK.
We love JK. He's one of our sponsors.
Okay. Thank you, JK.
Yep.
He is an awesome individual, and I'm
Great.
already planning on trying to attend the next meeting and see. On your turkey drive, something you might think about if you decide to go after that, in Rayford, North Carolina, it's about 2 hours from here, is a place called the House of Rayford, and it's a turkey plant, turkey and chicken. They also, they do these remotes, they send a refrigerated truck out, because during COVID, they were producing so much chicken and they couldn't sell it because the restaurants were all closed and everything. So they started sending these trucks around, and they're in different places around the counties, in different counties each month. And you get a tremendous amount of chicken. And I mean, these chicken breasts are more like turkey breasts. They're huge. And we bought a case from them, and it was really inexpensive. And it lasted us about 7 months. So might be worth talking to them, because they do some charitable stuff. I've done Harley rides with them to raise up money for people around Rayford and all. So that may be a good organization to talk to.
Sounds like it. Thank you.
So the organization will take monies as donations? Are you able to do that? And how would somebody do that, David?
So, yeah, donations or dues are accepted gladly, but they are subject to the campaign finance laws.
Right.
So our treasurer reports that, and we report that to the state, and they're separate from the county. The finances are separate from the county,
Okay.
but we do report the same way the county does.
Okay. Anything that I believe that's federated with the state has to report. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. That's good to know that you have your own treasury and you will be using that for projects, I'm sure.
We've used it for projects and to help facilitate some of our activities.
Sure.
But we actually haven't spent a lot because our guys, when we get active, they come through for us, and we've been able to find some sponsors. Like you said, Frank Eiler was able to help us out with some things. Okay.
That's
'Cause
great.
we're Republicans here serving Brunswick County.
Yep.
We're all Republicans.
I love it when you say that. That is awesome. That is a really good thing. I've worked with David for a while, and I do appreciate him.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, you're pretty on top of things. I think a better chair could not have been chosen
I
for
w-
this.
I was pulling it together, okay, and I help pull it together. And hey, someone comes along and takes it to the next level. That's great. Okay, like to find someone that wants to do that. So Thursday night, May 9th is the next meeting. So that's not the coming Thursday, but next week,
Right, at 5:15.
5:15.
Great, here at headquarters.
Right here at headquarters, and Radio City, right here, Radio City. And if you want to stay and find out what the party's doing, you're welcome to be a guest at the
Sure,
regular monthly meeting of the party.
great. And on that note, I think we'll take a break and pay some bills.
Cool.
What a great place we all call home. From colorful sunsets to panoramic coastal views. The best attractions are its people, a community of friends and family. J.K. Summers, attorney at law, recognizes this fact and is proud of his work to protect their rights. Put your trust in him to prepare wills and trusts, real estate transactions, contract and LLC creations, and criminal, traffic, and civil matters. Visit oakislandlaw.com or call 910-253-5572. J.K. Summers, attorney at law.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Welcome back, everyone, to All Things Brunswick. Mary?
Thank you, Todd. Today's guest is David Smudsky, who is the chair of the Republican Men's Club in Brunswick County, and one of his members, Dennis,
Project leader.
his project leader, Dennis. I apologize. And we're so happy to have you both here. They are talking about this actually pretty new organization in Brunswick County.
We got federated 2 years ago.
You did?
In August, so
Yeah.
it's not quite 2 years yet.
Okay. And so you've been meeting for 2 years?
Yeah, very much.
Wow, time goes by so quickly. Holy moly. Anyway, and they have a pretty good size group already, but are looking for members, and they want to do projects with the citizens of Brunswick County, right?
That's right. We're here to serve not just the party,
Right.
but our hometowns.
Yeah. I think that's wonderful. That is just wonderful. So tell us more about now. Is that the one project that you will keep doing? Is the roads?
We're established, so we've got
Right.
the footprint is already in place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will continue. We may change some of the days. I work on weekends, so we made the cleanups in the middle of the week, and
Sure.
everyone on the board agreed with that. So we may think to change it to maybe doing it on a Saturday or a Sunday to give people that work during the week, give them an opportunity to
Right.
participate.
Do you have to choose a certain area and let the DOT know where you're going to be?
We all said we wanted to originally do 17, right, David? That was originally what you started with, doing on 17.
That's right.
And then they gave us right in front of the headquarters. Couldn't be an
Really?
easier place to meet and get out and start, right as you walk out the door, you could start doing your thing.
In working with the Department of Transportation, I wanted to be visible over here on 17. I wanted people to see us wearing, Brunswick County Republican men. I wanted to. They have little signs, and he was talking about the infrastructure. If you drive down the road, you'll see that, road sponsored by
Yeah.
Brunswick County Republican
Yep,
men.
I've seen those.
Okay, and those are there, and they're for 2 miles. So we went back and forth since 17's already called for. They wanted us to start at the other end of 17. And it was like, no. So we're right here in front of the Republican and the Democrat headquarters
Well, how appropriate.
on the way down to the government center. So
Okay.
everyone on the way in and coming out, they have these signs that says sponsored by Brunswick County Republican men. And they'll see us when we're out there working. Which is why I like the Wednesday idea, because it's busier than on Saturdays. But, at least they'll see us out there. But if we're going to do Saturdays, we need a captain, a project leader for the Saturdays crew as well. And
So that will be your area from now on.
from
Yes.
now on, yes.
Okay. So if the DOT could get all these areas covered, we would have a lot less trash on the roadways, right?
Absolutely.
I have to tell you, I'm amazed. I cannot understand why there is so much. I know that we do not have a bottle bill. I think that if we did have a bottle bill, it would help with some of the trash, because people wouldn't throw the bottles out when they could get a nickel for them. This is something that I've talked to Frank and Charlie and Bill and everybody about, and it doesn't move. I don't understand it.
Well, I think part of it would be the enforcement.
Yeah.
Then you got to have somebody that takes the bottles after you pick them up. You got to have a vendor that's
You have
willing to-
redemption
purchase 'em.
centers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
You
when I
know?
lived in New York. We
Yeah,
we had 'em.
we have a bottle bill in my home state of Maine, and we have redemption centers everywhere. And I'll tell you what, a lot of groups that have organized drives for specific things, one of their things is collect the bottles.
What a fundraiser.
And
Yeah.
exactly. And so they return them to the redemption center. Now, when I'm home in the summer, I return all of my cans and bottles, and I donate them to. There is one redemption center that takes donations of bottles and cans for the drug recovery, and I donate to that when I'm home. I bring them in and say, I want to donate to that. So you have an option. It's not just, bring them back and get money for them. Give them to something worthwhile, and it keeps them off the roadways. There's,
A lot of the cans and bottles are alcohol, so
yeah,
people don't want to get caught with the beer cans
Right.
and whiskey
Yeah.
bottles. So that's like the big thing that you pick up are
Yeah.
beer cans and all the beverages they make now with alcohol in them.
right.
so
And
that's-
if you look at them, you can redeem them for a
Yes.
nickel.
Yeah. absolutely.
What I found, what really colors the side of the road, white especially, are cigarette butts.
Oh, yeah.
Smokers seem to think that, hey, I'll just throw it out the window.
That's dangerous.
But, I mean, I spend a lot of time picking up those little things. 'Cause
Well, especially when you're in a drought like we are right now.
Oh, yes.
Starting fires. A lot of times you'll see, especially in divided highways like 17 and all, you'll see a median fire, and that's usually what causes
Yep.
it.
Yep. Yep.
It's so dry, and it doesn't take much, just a little bit of breeze, and you got a fire.
Because we think the trash will pick up as I guess we're like in the off-season for the Carolinas, right? So it's like once the summer crowd comes in, then there will be more debris on the road, you know, it's just the way it is, I guess. So we haven't done a summer cleanup yet. I'm sure there'll be more. But like I said, it's good to be out there. I'm an outside guy. I just love to be outside. You know, so
Sure.
for me, that's like just a great project. I like to walk, and it's real easy for me to do that. You know.
Yeah, that's great, and it does so much good. Well, I personally, I think that our representatives need to look at a bottle bill, but that's just me. We appreciate the fact that you pick up those nasty little cigarette butts.
Can I get a plug in here? My wife volunteers for the Brunswick County Literacy Council.
Wonderful.
Yes, you know, so she's on the board of directors there, and I'm just amazed at all the work that they do for. They tutor inmates to get their GEDs. I just couldn't believe how much stuff they do.
Right.
They do fundraisers, and that's I'm just trying to get a plug out there for them.
Well, that's wonderful. And I believe that it to be a very important organization.
They do tutoring for people to come in, and my wife does some of the tutoring also, and I think that's a real great organization. And I was hoping I would get a chance to get a plug in.
Well, good, and you did, and I am a little bit familiar with it, not a lot. I am a trustee on the county library commission, and we interact with them.
So you're with the books. I deliver and pick up books
Yeah.
like all the time. And they're our neighbors. They're right up the block.
Yep. So very important. I think that, Brunswick County, we all try very hard to work together to make things better for the county, for the people in it. And I'm happy to say that this organization that you have started and are growing is real important to the county. And, I'm hoping that we've brought it to the audience now so that you'll have some members. We'll have some people come by and want to join. Do you mind telling us what the dues are?
This year, they're $25 for a year.
Wow, very reasonable.
And and the dues are due in January.
Right.
So, we're going to pay some of that to the North Carolina Federation.
Sure.
And if they want a bigger cut, well, we'll look at how much we need to keep.
Yeah.
But
Some of the other organizations have gone up because of that reason, so you may have to.
heard about that. That's why I was thinking that. But right now, it's a reasonable fee, and the
Absolutely.
federation, the state federation, is working across the state to try to get funding for judge campaigns.
Now, how big is this organization? We have 100 counties in our state. Do every one of them have?
We don't have a federated club in all of those counties yet. In fact, we don't have one in Columbus, although I've heard interest in starting one. And I'm not sure how well the one in New Hanover is doing. That's where Bill Moore came from. But we did have some down here in the southeast region, is what they called it, and SERMA, Southeast Regional Men's Association.
Yep.
And so that was the counties down here, including Pender and Onslow. But how they're doing right now, I'm sorry, I'm not in tune with that. I'm
Right.
focused on Brunswick.
Right. Okay. So actually, not all counties have this.
That's correct.
And it could be something that they could start.
And not all states have chapters of the Federation of Republican
Okay.
Men.
Right.
So maybe our new RNC can look into that.
Good idea. Uh-huh. Everything has to start somewhere. I mean, Brunswick County Republican Women, 1953. And then they took, in this county, then they took a break. They disbanded for what reason, I have no idea, for a couple of years and then revamped. And wow, it has been going strong ever since. So maybe the same thing will happen with the Men's Federated Club.
We're looking to take it to the next level.
Yep, that's great.
I see it as a great way to help mold and shape the future of our political scene. Because you can get candidates from these committees, people that have proven themselves and are easy to get behind and support. But you can also help with policy. You never elect anyone that has all the right ideas.
That's right.
You know, if we can agree on a goal, there's millions of ways to accomplish that goal. It's finding what's the best way and the most efficient way.
Sure.
And I see where your committee can help with steering some of our elected officials. Say, hey, here's this we found that might help solve that problem. And we've got good county commissioners and we got great state legislators. So I can see that creeping into your committee pretty soon.
Todd is a problem solver. Seriously. He
seer.
is. People go to
Visionary.
him and ask him to solve their problems. We're so lucky to have him.
Welcome.
I try.
So one of the things that could probably enhance the Republican experience is to Bill Moore, I get it right, Bill Moore. So he does a breakfast, probably 3 or 4 a month, right, at different locations. Coffees.
Coffees.
Coffee with
Yeah.
the chair.
Yeah, coffees with the chair, and
Yeah.
I got to attend one. And if you're a person that doesn't like a crowd or intimidated by being with a lot of people,
Right.
that's like a pretty intimate setting.
Yep.
You know, when you still get to voice your opinion instead of in front of an audience, is 10 or 15 people that are at the breakfast table having some breakfast, and I thought that was I thought that was like a great idea.
Well, you can have a more reasonable discussion that way. You know, you don't have somebody just trying to instigate something. You can talk more about the facts and ideas and how to accomplish things. And that's kind of how I see it.
And the last one that he had in Calabash, he had a whole lot to explain. So he explained a lot of things that are happening in the county and in the state, and asked for people to remember to vote the whole ballot. I mean, he brings that up just about every time. But so he's real informative on his breakfast, on his coffees.
And I know we keep hammering on this vote the whole ballot, but it is a serious issue.
Yes.
And when you have a 10,000 vote range, that means people are getting elected that probably shouldn't.
With you there.
I have a question. Do you have bylaws
Yes.
in your organization?
Yes, we do. You need
Okay.
that to be federated.
Exactly. And a plan of organization?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe the plan of organization is incorporated in the bylaws.
Okay. Great. And that would be the same one, and that would come from the Federation. I mean, they started it, right?
Well, we have one specifically for Brunswick County.
Okay.
Okay.
But you have to pretty much be with them, right?
That's right. We're not going to contradict them, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I know that with the Republican women, we have our own bylaws and plan of organization, but we have to kind of be on the same page as the state and the national. So,
That's
One
what-
message.
yeah,
That's
one
right.
message. Yep. Now, is the Federated or the Republican Men, is this a national as well?
There are several states that have chapter federations, but again, like not all of the counties in North Carolina, not all of the states.
Okay.
So if someone can take that up under the national RNC, that may be something we can do in the future.
Do you think it's fairly new, like within the last 10 years, or?
I've been hearing about it actually for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, I've been going to conventions since 2006, and I heard about it back then, and it wasn't doing so well. And the reason was they didn't have a message, they didn't have any projects, they weren't serving anybody.
Right.
They were just saying, come and join the federation. Well, what do we do?
Yeah.
Well, we ask people for money for the judges. Well, that's why I was determined that we were going to be more than just going out and asking for money, that we're going to show people that we're here for the county.
That's great.
And if they would like to help us in our mission to elect Republican judges, then we appreciate the donations.
Right.
But we're here to serve our hometowns.
That's a great way to do it. Great way to come forward with it. Well, I just think it's wonderful, and I know you have a lot of great people there, because I come for the meeting and I look over and see them.
A lot of elected officials, Frank and county commissioners, and lots of judges and lawyers. And
Yeah.
so
And so if I
and
become an
regular people like you and me.
if I become an associate member, I can sit in on those meetings.
We'd love for you to do
Okay,
that.
but associate members do not vote.
I'll have to look in the bylaws.
Normally, they don't have a vote, so that's why I asked.
We'll look in the bylaws.
Okay.
We'll check that out.
That was a stumper.
Yeah.
You did very good. You fielded them, almost all of them, but that one stumped you on.
It happens.
Sharon provides input. Our associate member now, she provides input. I don't know if she votes or not, but we'll check that out.
Some of the bylaws state that if you are an associate, you have a voice, but you don't have a vote. And actually, in some areas, you don't have either. You don't have a voice or a vote.
Well, Sharon's a very big part of our organization, so we appreciate the associate members.
And if you go that route, then you limit possibly great ideas.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you want to hear from everyone.
Exactly.
Well, they have to go by the rules that were established in the beginning.
Right.
They have to. Their bylaws have to coincide with the state and national.
Right.
I mean, and that's the same way with the women and with the GOP and everything. We all have to be on the same page. We all have to want the same thing and speak the same language.
And that is one thing about the Brunswick County Republican Men that isn't true for every club. If they're not federated, if they don't tie in with the party, then they're free to do whatever
Right.
basically they want to do.
Right.
So, but we're tied in with the party
Yep.
at the local, state levels.
Because other organizations are allowed, okay, in an area, any area.
Sure.
But it's like you said, if they're not affiliated with the party, and they can pretty much do what they want. Scary. To me, it is scary.
So we are associated with the Brunswick County Republican Party.
Yep. Great. Yep. What would you like to see, Dennis, in the future of this group?
Well, the men's group, definitely, we need more people. We need more members. We thought 25 people that was a good start, right? But we need more than that. just the general logistics of trying to get a project off the road. Like I said, with the my cleanup, can't get enough people because of working schedules.
Right.
You know, the more people you have, the greater pool of people that you could pull from to. Like I said, we're going to be doing three events for the year, so there are, it's not just me or David that do it. You'll have a vice president or an associate that tags along with that particular project. So I would like to see our membership, our role in our group. I'd like to see that expand. I think that'd be pretty helpful, and obviously to elect conservative officials. That's the bottom line.
Great. Do you have, in this organization, do you have specific committees that you choose chairs for? For instance, campaign committee, legislative committee, fundraising?
We haven't set up those kind of committees. That's all possible.
Okay.
To Dennis's point about the membership, it's been said, there's a statistic out there that 20% of the organization, that includes the Republican Party, 20% of the organization does the work. Basically, you can count on 20%.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
20% of 25 people is 5.
Yep.
Okay, which, if we got seven out to the thing, we did better than usual. But I mean, 20% of 50 would be more people on the highway.
Right.
So, or it would be more people to run a turkey thing.
Yeah.
And a food drive, yeah. So like I said,
Right.
we definitely have plans. Like I said, we're just, taking little steps. That's what I was told, right? This was our first venture, and then we're just gonna look to expand it, make it,
Right.
grow it.
And we had a good project leader to make it happen. So,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Well, I was curious because the GOP, as you know, has particular committees that they are required to have with chairs of those committees or the head of those committees. The Republican women the same way, and they are required to have those committees in their bylaws. It states, and then they have a chair for those committees, and it is helpful to the organization because you have that one person that takes care of that one area, and then when they all come together, it's a lot easier.
well, and that's what we've started.
That's
Okay,
great.
but we're not all the way to where you
Yeah.
are suggesting.
Right.
But we do have Dennis in charge of our road projects. So
We planted the seed, that's what we call
That's
it, right?
right.
We planted our seed,
Yeah.
we're just gonna watch it grow.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
we
yeah.
have the structure
Yeah.
that we can do a lot with. If someone would like to join us and work beside us and other Republicans to accomplish our goals.
Yeah, and I think that by having these various committees and chairs, you gain more people. You have individuals who are specifically drawn to one area as opposed to another. I find that in the other organizations, and it draws in people that want to do that particular thing.
There are people that just like to volunteer.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm one of those. I'm a glutton for punishment sometimes. I'm the vice president of my HOA. I take care of the pool and the tennis courts in my community. Spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on projects. And my wife says, now I'm volunteering here. She goes, well, you are like a glutton for punishment. I said, yes, I am. But I love volunteering.
I know, and don't you know volunteers are priceless?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They are priceless.
We run a parallel in my career before I worked for the gas company in New York. I did their blood drives. I did their Toys for Tots. So for me, this is pretty easy. I know the matrix, what it takes to get a project
Sure.
going. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Toys for Tots is a very interesting project.
But we found out that's like a Marine Corps
It is.
thing. They
Yes.
But there's no reason that we couldn't come Christmas time. I guess what would be like after Thanksgiving, right? You have that short window from Thanksgiving
Right.
to Christmas
Yeah.
to do a toy drive. When I used to be a biker, we used to go out to this was in New York, Little Flower home for children, and we would
Right.
go out there with our motorcycles and do the toy drive.
Sure.
And, so
Yeah.
we need to do that here, because I know there are plenty of kids in Brunswick County that don't get Christmas. And,
Exactly.
you don't have to get a lot, it's just, but it's the
Something.
logistics of getting, collecting the stuff, getting it to the churches. I think the churches are the biggest, best resource
Right.
for getting it into the community.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we don't really pursue. Am I right, David? Churches denomination doesn't make any difference. It's
No,
just-
and I think another area that you may want to check into are your municipality police departments, because they at Christmas time try very hard right in their own area to make sure that the kids have Christmas. So you can help them individually. And there are some municipalities that are worse than others, or in need, I should say.
More in need.
Not worse than others, but more in need than others.
Brunswick County is not just the beach.
No, it is not. It is not.
Different
And-
demographics when you go from
Yep.
the beach and move
Yep.
inland, and you see how
Exactly.
regular Americans live,
Yep.
other Americans.
Yep. Absolutely. So I'm excited that you would even consider doing some of that. It's wonderful.
Well, Mayor, I appreciate this opportunity to get the news out there that we have this organization. We want to be of service, and we have a core of volunteers, people, like you said, that like to get out and volunteer. And so if people are interested in these kind of projects, have those kind of contacts, please come see us next Thursday, May 9th, 5:15, right here at the GOP headquarters near Bolivia. Okay.
971 Old Ocean Highway.
There we go. Okay, so there's plenty of room to grow, and there's plenty of things to do, as we've talked about.
Right.
We could use some people that like to get in there and roll with some things.
Sure.
So,
And let's take a break and pay some bills, and we will be right back. What a great place we all call home. From colorful sunsets to panoramic coastal views. The best attractions are its people, a community of friends and family. J.K. Summers, attorney at law, recognizes this fact and is proud of his work to protect their rights. Put your trust in him to prepare wills and trusts, real estate transactions, contract and LLC creations, and criminal, traffic, and civil matters. Visit oakislandlaw.com or call 910-253-5572. J.K. Summers, attorney at law.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Welcome back, folks, to All Things Brunswick. It's been a great hour, and we are almost through for this session, but we've had some wonderful guests. David Smudsky, who is the chair of the Brunswick County Republican Men,
thank you, Mayor.
and his project manager, Dennis,
Mitaratondo.
with that wonderful last name. And we're so happy to have had you with us today. David, just let our audience know one more time how they can join you, please.
So the Republican men meet before the executive committee meeting on the second Thursdays of the month. So the next one is May 9th, and of course the one after that will be the second Thursday in June. And we meet at 5:15 here at the headquarters, GOP headquarters, 971 Ocean Highway.
Old Ocean.
971 Old Ocean Highway.
Thank you, Mary, in near Bolivia. I did want to say one thing. So we're Republican men. I am finding that a lot of people who think they're Republican have actually registered, probably at the DMV, as unaffiliated. Okay? So we checked the registrations, and I found 2 or 3 men who are actually unaffiliated. So watch when you register at the DMV that you get registered Republican.
I'd like to see that go away, but that's just me. Anyway, thank you so much for coming today, folks. And we enjoyed it so much, and I've learned things about the Republican Men's Club. So I am definitely going to become an associate.
Thank you.
And I think that you're doing great things. And this road cleanup is an awesome project. It really is.
The meetings are very informal. You know, when
Yeah.
you come, if you're intimidated by meetings, our meeting is very informal.
Oh,
It's some laughing, some carrying on.
I
and
know,
we-
it's
we-
fun.
It's team building.
Hey, I've watched you guys. It's fun.
So, you know, if you're coming from work and you're dirty, you know, you
They
got,
don't
you got
care.
mud on your boots, come in. We want you.
Yep.
We want you.
Yep. Thank you so much. And once
Thank you,
again,
Mary.
thank you, Todd, for being my great co-host. We have a great show next week, folks. We will have with us a candidate for Lieutenant Governor. Hal Weatherman is joining us next week to let us know why he would like your vote for Lieutenant Governor. So if you'll sign in with us next week. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, TK. We love you all. Good night.
Peace out.